Thank you all for listening and watching my videos. Please subscribe and like my channel Master Coolitz. Hoping that you will not skip my ads. It's a big help for me by not skipping it. Thank you so much. Dragon Shadow. The Rise.
Sword Shield.
Zane's vital energy fused, forming a shimmering green sword shield on both sides of him. The sword shield enveloped Zane, repelling the two blood corpses that lunged at him from outside.
Billy. Now!
At his call, Billy swiftly emerged from his sleeve, transforming into an elegant woman. With a fierce cry, Billy leaped from the air, striking a blood corpse, demonic beast on the left with her palm. The impact sent the blood corpse flying backward, but its copper-like skin and iron-hard bones left it unscathed. Its limbs flailed wildly in the narrow passage. The creature moved like blood-red wind shadows. Billy, not yet at the intermediate level, found herself outmatched by the blood corpse. She could only continue fighting to buy Zane precious time. Seizing this brief window, Zane wrenched his dragon blood sword from the blood corpse's maw, striking out with lightning speed. 3 blows glanced off the creature's skin and flesh, ringing like metal on metal. The final strike pierced its heart, yet failed to deliver an instant kill.
As I suspected, these blood corpses can't be felled by ordinary attacks.
The blood corpse continued its relentless assault, baring its terrifying fangs in a frenzied attack.
Aurora Sword Energy.
Zane's fingers danced, conjuring numerous green razor-sharp sword energies at his fingertips, hemming in his opponent. One of the energy blades pierced the creature's body, finally dropping it to the ground. Streaks of sword energy whirled like a tempest, striking the surrounding walls with a cacophony of impacts, leaving a maze of sword marks in their wake. Witnessing their fallen comrade, the remaining 2 blood corpses charged at Zane in unison. Their scarlet forms flickered like wraiths in the dim light. Zane swung his dragon blood sword in a wide arc, unleashing a dazzling silver radiance. The lethal sword energy pierced through, shattering the blood corpses' hearts. In a matter of moments, Zane had dispatched all 3 blood corpses. These creatures proved to be formidable adversaries indeed. Suddenly, hidden mechanisms activated on both sides of the wall, and a stone gate slowly ground open. To Zane's dismay, 6 more blood corpses emerged, their eyes gleaming with murderous intent.
Again? You've got to be kidding me.
Gritting his teeth in frustration, Zane grabbed Billy and employed his 3-star steps technique, dashing towards the depths of the tunnel.
Damn it all. I just finished off 3, and now there's another 6. What's next? 12 more after these.
He cursed vehemently, glancing back at the pursuing blood corpses.
At this rate, I fear I'll be overwhelmed before I can eliminate them all. Those Devil Flame sect fools might break through the formation and catch up to me.
Zane's form blurred into 3 graceful afterimages as he ascended rapidly. However, the 6 blood corpses moved with even greater agility. Their muscles, perfectly adapted to the narrow confines, allowed them to outpace Zane with ease. They bounded from wall to wall like spectral apparitions in the dead of night.
God damn it. If I wasn't so intent on maintaining my speed, I wouldn't be running. But these things are impossibly fast. I should have invested in a higher tier movement technique when I had the chance.
Since attaining intermediate level, Zane increasingly felt the limitations of his 3-star step technique.
Master, look ahead.
Zane's gaze snapped forward. A spacious chamber loomed before them, housing several bookshelves. Something on those shelves caught his attention.
Could those be cultivation manuals?
Hope surged in Zane's heart. Summoning his remaining strength, he increased his speed, rolling and leaping through the air toward the chamber. The 6 blood corpses tensed their powerful muscles, emitting low, menacing growls that echoed through the narrow corridor. Abruptly, they halted at the chamber's threshold, as if an invisible, impenetrable barrier prevented their entry into this sacred space. Without warning or explanation, the blood corpses turned and retreated, their forms vanishing swiftly down the dim corridor from whence they came. Zane exhaled deeply in relief, his tense muscles relaxing as he rose to survey his newfound surroundings. With growing excitement, he realized he stood in the Spirit Fusion Sect's branch archive, a treasure trove housing countless ancient scrolls and forbidden knowledge. 3 towering bookcases, their shelves bowing under the weight of countless texts and manuals, filled him with a sense of awe and unbridled excitement.
Incredible. Martial arts techniques beyond my wildest dreams, all mine for the taking.
As he eagerly reached for a random manual, his fingers tingling with anticipation, an unseen formation suddenly activated with a crackle of energy. A searing bolt of energy struck his outstretched hand, forcing him to recoil in pain and surprise.
A protective formation? Seriously? Even after all this time?
Zane's expression darkened with disappointment and a hint of anger at this unexpected obstacle.
This branch has been abandoned for ages, left to decay in solitude. How can so many intricate formations still be active after all this time? Forcibly breaking them might reduce us to ashes in an instant. It seems I'll need to study formations extensively once I leave this place. Such knowledge could prove invaluable in the future.
Suddenly, an ethereal voice emanated from the array, its tone both commanding and ancient.
Spirit Fusion Sect disciples may select one cultivation manual. Choose wisely, for this opportunity comes but once.
The solemn proclamation echoed throughout the chamber, its words hanging heavy in the air.
Spirit Fusion disciples only, and just one book out of this vast collection.
Zane felt his hopes deflate like a punctured balloon. Despite the hundreds of priceless manuals before him, tantalizingly close yet frustratingly out of reach, he could claim but one, and only if recognized as a Spirit Fusion disciple.
No choice then. We'll have to make the most of this limited opportunity. Elemental, you should join us in this decision.
He summoned the loyal Panther to his side, carefully scanning the available techniques with a discerning eye. Given his current needs and the challenges that lay ahead, a superior movement technique took clear priority. His offensive skills, like the Aurora Sword skill, were adequate for now and could be honed through practice.
Could it truly be the legendary Wind Serpent Step?
Zane halted his search, transfixed by a particular manual that seemed to call out to him. The Wind Serpent Step, an Earth-level movement technique shrouded in mystery, promised unparalleled agility and evasion. It allowed one to evade attacks with serpentine grace, potentially facing countless foes unscathed in the heat of battle.
An Earth-level movement technique. I doubt even the most prestigious great cultivating academies possess something of this caliber. Perhaps only the fabled Titan Academy might have access to such knowledge.
Despite his palpable excitement, a question nagged at the back of Zane's mind, demanding answers.
But what exactly is a wind serpent? I've never encountered such a creature in all my studies.
Billy, drawing on her vast knowledge of the mysterious Dark Reach Highlands, offered an explanation to satisfy Zane's curiosity.
The Wind Serpent is a legendary demonic beast master, rarely seen and even more rarely understood. Rumor has it they incubate their eggs within the fiercest of wild winds, sustaining themselves on air currents alone. I've always possessed naturally agile movement, but even I have never encountered such a being in all my years. I assumed they were purely mythical, the stuff of campfire tales. A beast surviving on wind alone seems almost implausible, defying the natural order.
Zane nodded thoughtfully, his decision made with unwavering resolve. He then selected another Earth-level offensive art, the formidable Thunderbolt Fist, instructing Elemental and Billy to carefully retrieve it from its resting place. Suddenly, sounds of fierce combat erupted beyond the chamber's walls, shattering the brief moment of quiet contemplation. The Blood Corpse's bone-chilling bellows reverberated through the air, a cacophony of primal fury. Without warning, a Devil Flame Sect disciple burst into the room, his eyes wild with excitement as they locked onto Zane.
There he is. I've found him at last.
Zane's heart raced as he realized the dire implications. The Devil Flame sect had somehow breached the outer formations and were now locked in mortal combat with the blood corpses just outside the sanctuary of this chamber. Mere moments later, more Devil Flame disciples poured into the room like a relentless tide. Both sides locked eyes, the air thick with tension and the promise of impending violence. The imposing bull-headed masked man took center stage, his masked visage unable to hide the glare of undisguised hatred directed at Zane.
Surrender those priceless manuals and cripple your hands, boy. Comply with my demands, and you might yet live to see another dawn. Refuse, and a swift, merciless death awaits you and your companions.
I think it's you and your lackeys who should fear for yours, you arrogant fool.
Zane's voice dripped with icy contempt as he swiftly stored the precious scrolls in his spatial ring. His eyes flashed like forked lightning as he launched a sudden ghost-like attack on one of the unsuspecting intruders. Zane brandished the dragon blood sword, unleashing a brilliant sword light that streaked through the air like a roaring silver dragon. The energy pierced through a first-stage intermediate-level practitioner who had charged in recklessly. With a sickening thud, the man collapsed, lifeless.
He killed him with a single strike.
The scene left everyone stunned and enraged.
You barbarian, how dare you! Everyone, eliminate him immediately!
The bullhead masked man's voice dripped with venom.
Attack now!
3 practitioners, ranging from first to third stage intermediate level, launched their assault in unison. A kaleidoscope of spirit light erupted, filling the cramped room with a maelstrom of vital energy. The air crackled with deafening sounds. A massive black handprint materialized above Zane's head, descending with a thunderous crack.
Separation of vital energy.
His sword glow exploded outward, the energy effortlessly dispersing the incoming attack.
Sky Devil Sword Skill, God Extermination.
Sky Devil Blade Skill, Devil Slayer.
Great Devil Palm. Dust-breaking strike.
The battle between Zane and his 3 opponents intensified. Weapons clashed, sending sparks flying as sword energy ricocheted across the chamber. A stray energy bolt struck the bookshelf's protective formation, creating rippling circles of pink energy. Suddenly, one of the attackers called out,
"The cultivation methods must be protected by a formation. Outsiders can't access them. This intruder must have obtained one, somehow."
We must seize that cultivation method at all costs.
Despite his bold words, the speaker lacked the power to back them up. In mere moments, the 4 combatants exchanged over 100 blows. Yet Zane not only survived, but began to overwhelm his opponents with sheer strength. With a flash of devastating sword light, Zane cleaved through all 3 attackers, bisecting them instantly. They fell lifeless. A collective gasp of disbelief filled the room.
How is this possible? Zane was clearly only at the first stage of intermediate level. Such strength defies logic.
The bullhead masked man's face, though hidden, surely contorted with livid rage. An aura of malevolence radiated from him as if he'd tasted bitter defeat.
Let me test the mettle of this 5-spirit sect, brat. I'm gonna flay you alive and grind your bones to dust, punk.
A 4th stage intermediate level elder stepped forward, his vital energy churning the very air around him. The surrounding vital energy coalesced into a distant whirlpool, surging ominously.
You wish to kill me. I think you'll find the tables turned, old man.
Zane's voice dripped with icy disdain as he launched his attack without hesitation. His blade cut through the air like a vicious, lightning-fast dragon.
Foolish child, you caught death itself.
The elder's roar shook the chamber as vital energy erupted from his form. Black flames engulfed his hand as he unleashed a devastating strike toward Zane. A tremendous shockwave exploded outward, forcing both Zane and the elder back several steps. Disbelief etched itself across the elder's features.
How? How can this be?
He had assumed Zane to be a mere first-stage intermediate-level practitioner, his earlier victories attributed to luck or trickery. But this exchange revealed a far more terrifying truth. Zane's vital energy not only matched the Elder's own, but seemed to surpass it slightly. This was despite the vast gap in their supposed cultivation levels. The Elder struggled to comprehend this impossibility. Unbeknownst to him, Zane's form of the Elder Wyvern granted him exponential growth with each breakthrough, multiplying his vital energy 3- to 4-fold each time.
What's the matter, old-timer? It's not too late to bow out gracefully.
Shut the hell up, you impudent brat.
The Elder advanced relentlessly, unleashing a barrage of attacks. Yet Zane repelled him thrice in succession, seemingly adapting to his opponent's style with each exchange.
This young man, he's no ordinary cultivator. He's a monster in human form.
A genius of your caliber dares to roam freely. Our Devil Flame sect shall render a great service by nipping you in the bud.
As he spoke, rolling black energy emanated from his form, coalescing into a pitch-black gleaming palm. The Elder's legs propelled him forward with explosive force. A whirlwind of energy engulfed Zane before he could react.
Devil Seal of the Elder Witch.
The dark energy seal penetrated Zane's body, detonating violently. Flesh and blood scattered in all directions.
You're nothing special after all. And here I thought you posed a real threat.
A smug smile twisted the Elder's features, his eyes brimming with disdain.
Something's not right. Stay alert.
What the fuck?
The Elder whirled around only to see a silver spark rapidly expanding into a blinding light, hurtling towards him. With a sickening sound, the Elder's head separated from his body, blood spraying in an arc. The 4th stage intermediate level cultivator crumpled lifelessly to the ground.
An illusion? But how?
It became clear that at the moment of the Elder's attack, Billy had cast an illusion, creating a perfect replica of Zane. The real Zane had concealed himself, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. Billy's mastery of illusions had fooled them all effortlessly. By now, even the bull-headed masked figure couldn't deny Zane's true capabilities.
Everyone fall back. I'll handle this myself.
He stepped forward, surprising the onlookers. For this mysterious expert to personally intervene spoke volumes about Zane's prowess. It confirmed beyond doubt that Zane was far from ordinary.
Engage in a war of attrition with you? I'm not as foolish as you seem to think. I'll be taking my leave now.
Having secured the 2 Earth-level cultivation methods and new martial arts techniques, Zane saw no reason to prolong this conflict. The treasures were his primary objective after all. Without hesitation, Zane recalled Elemental and Billy. He employed the 3-star step, his already impressive agility enhanced further by Billy's illusory techniques. His movements became utterly unpredictable. In a series of fluid motions, he bypassed most of his opponents, nearly reaching the chamber's exit. However, at that crucial moment, a black gleam flashed in the bullhead masked man's eyes. It was as if he had pierced through Zane's deceptions to his true form.
Trying to flee, huh? I think not.
A pale, slender arm shot out from beneath the black robe, crackling with terrifying energy. It aimed unerringly for Zane's heart. Zane's eyes widened in alarm. Realizing evasion was impossible, he roared defiantly.
Bronze body vital shield, activate.
A bronze glow enveloped his form as he simultaneously reached out to grasp his attacker's chest. A thunderous collision echoed as their forces met, each breaking through the other's defenses. In that instant of contact, an unexpected sensation transmitted through Zane's palm. Soft, warm, and distinctly feminine. Both combatants staggered backward from the impact. The bullhead masked figure's face flushed beneath the disguise, cheeks reddening with a mix of exertion and something else. Zane, meanwhile, stood frozen in shock. He stared at his palm in disbelief before blurting out,
You're A woman?
All this time, the robed figure's attire had led Zane to assume his opponent was an elderly man. Now he realized he faced a genuine witch. And not just any witch, one with a rather generous figure. She tore off her mask, fixing Zane with a murderous glare. It seemed her mask allowed her to suppress her real voice.
You insolent cur! I'll end your miserable life.
The witch, humiliated and enraged, unleashed a torrent of terrifying energy, the very air around her distorted with power. Recognizing the rapidly escalating danger of the situation, Zane made the split-second decision to abandon the fight. He swiftly disengaged from the menacing blood corpse and dashed deeper into the complex, his heart racing with every step. However, the witch, thoroughly incensed by Zane's audacious actions, had absolutely no intention of letting her prey escape. Gritting her teeth in barely contained fury, she transformed into a streaking blur of black light, giving relentless chase through the winding corridors. The remaining disciples and elders, momentarily bewildered by the sudden turn of events, attempted to follow in hot pursuit. However, they quickly found themselves impeded by the nearby blood corpses, their path blocked by the nightmarish creatures. Zane's form became an indistinct blur of brilliant sword light, while his determined pursuer remained a dark, ominous shadow. Their high-stakes chase echoed loudly through the ancient passages, the sound of their pursuit reverberating off the stone walls. The narrow, seemingly endless corridor twisted and turned unpredictably. They had been racing through its confines for what felt like an eternity, though in reality only half an hour had passed.
You truly think you can escape my grasp? I'll make you pay dearly for your transgressions, you shameless thief.
As she spoke, her voice dripping with malice, the witch unleashed her formidable sword. The weapon pulsed with dark energy, forming a crescent-shaped blade of pure darkness that sliced through the air. Zane dodged the initial attack with lightning-fast reflexes, only to be met by a relentless barrage of crescent moon attacks. The onslaught filled the entire passageway, leaving him little room to maneuver.
This absolute fanatic. She's completely lost her grip on sanity.
Zane cursed inwardly, his mind racing as he hastily conjured several Saiyan sword shields to block the unending stream of attacks. The magical shields shuddered violently under the tremendous impact of each strike. The force of the collisions sent both Zane and his hastily erected defenses flying backward. Though the shields miraculously held, their once pristine surfaces were now covered in a web of deep scratches and cracks. The surrounding stone walls, caught in the crossfire, were now riddled with thousands of smoldering holes, a stark testament to the battle's ferocity. Unable to fully control his trajectory, Zane tumbled through the air before crashing unceremoniously into a hidden chamber. He managed to land in a half-crouch, his muscles tensed and ready for action, as he glared defiantly at his relentless pursuer. The witch's aura was truly overwhelming, far surpassing that of even a fourth-level intermediate practitioner. Zane's mind raced with possibilities. Could she possibly be at the fifth level? Or perhaps something even more terrifyingly formidable? The moment she entered the chamber, however, the witch froze in her tracks. Her gaze, previously locked onto Zane with murderous intent, now fixed on something beyond him, her eyes widening in surprise. Curiosity overcoming his caution, Zane carefully turned to look in the same direction, wondering what could have captured his pursuer's attention so completely. There, standing proudly behind him, was a palm-sized statue that radiated an aura of immense, almost incomprehensible power. The intricately crafted bronze figure possessed 3 distinct heads, 6 powerful arms, and majestic wings spread wide. While similar in basic appearance to the other statues they'd encountered earlier in their journey, this particular artifact exuded an aura so terrifyingly potent that it made one's hair stand on end, sending shivers down Zane's spine.
The legendary 3-headed 6-armed god statue is here of all places. Fortune truly smiles upon me this day.
The witch's surprise was evident in both her voice and expression. Momentarily forgetting her pursuit of Zane, she approached the statue with a mixture of awe and barely contained greed. Before the ancient shrine stood 3 incense sticks, burning steadily for an unknowable length of time. Tendrils of ethereal green smoke coiled lazily above them, adding to the mystical atmosphere of the chamber.
The 3-headed, 6-armed god statue. What could its significance be?
The witch, seemingly deaf to Zane's musings, reached out with trembling hands to grasp the statue. To her evident shock, she found herself completely unable to budge it even a fraction of an inch. It was as if she were attempting to lift an entire mountain with her bare hands. Despite exerting every ounce of her considerable physical strength and channeling her vital energy to its utmost limits, the statue remained stubbornly, impossibly immovable. A snicker of amusement escaped Zane's lips before he could suppress it, the sound reaching the witch's ears. Her expression of concentration morphed instantly to one of embarrassment, which quickly gave way to renewed anger. She clenched her jaw tightly, her eyes blazing as she spoke.
How dare you mock me, you insignificant worm! I swear I'll end your miserable existence here and now.
With those venomous words, she dramatically cast aside her concealing black robe, revealing her true form beneath. Her appearance was undeniably striking, a beauty that could ensnare the hearts of most men. Yet beneath this alluring facade lay the unmistakable malevolence of the devil sect. Her eyes gleamed an unnatural, mesmerizing shade of jade that spoke of otherworldly power. Her vibrant red hair, curled in intricate patterns, cascaded down her back like a river of silk. She exuded an aura both alluring and terrifying, drawing Zane's gaze despite his best efforts to resist. The witch's attire was unconventional and provocative, clearly designed for both ease of movement in combat and to serve as a distraction to her opponents. She appeared somewhat older than Zane, perhaps in her early 20s. Though with cultivators, physical appearance could be deceiving, her presence was undeniably intimidating, a palpable aura of danger that rivaled or even surpassed the formidable impression left by Billy. Zane, despite his years of training and mental fortitude, felt his carefully maintained composure waver at the sight before him. The witch's allure was undeniable, a fact that unsettled him even in this perilous situation. He struggled to keep his focus on the immediate danger, rather than her captivating presence. Noticing Zane's lingering gaze, the witch's face flushed with a potent mixture of anger and embarrassment, her mind flashing back to their earlier, unwelcome encounter. Her eyes narrowed dangerously as she prepared to retaliate.
You asshole! You dare to stare at me like that? I swear I'll gouge those lecherous eyes from your skull!
Can you truly blame me for looking? In fact, wouldn't you be even more offended if I hadn't noticed your obvious beauty?
Shut up! I'm gonna burn you alive!
With those venomous words, she lunged forward with deadly grace, her attack aimed squarely at Zane's vital points. Her movements were a blur, nearly too fast for the eye to follow. Their palms and fists collided repeatedly in a dizzying display of martial prowess, each impact sending a shower of sparks flying in all directions. The very air seemed to crackle with the intensity of their exchange. It was only now, in the heat of battle, that Zane fully realized the witch's true power. She was at the 3rd level of intermediate, not the 5th level as he'd initially assumed, yet her strength was utterly astonishing for her cultivation level, far surpassing what should have been possible. As their fierce battle raged on, the witch couldn't entirely hide her own surprise and growing frustration. How could a mere 1st-level intermediate practitioner like Zane possess such formidable power and skill? It defied all her expectations and experiences. Suddenly, a massive energy palm broke through Zane's intricate sword defenses, landing squarely on his chest with devastating force. The tremendous impact sent Zane staggering backward, a sharp, lancing pain tearing through his body. He coughed violently, unable to suppress the reaction as he spat out a mouthful of bright red blood. Even his carefully cultivated vital shield, a technique he had relied on countless times before, proved woefully inadequate against the witch's overwhelming strength and skill.
Prepare to meet your end, you miserable wretch!
The witch, sensing her advantage, pressed forward relentlessly, determined to end the fight once and for all. Their battle intensified to new heights, filling the ancient chamber with chaotic, swirling bursts of raw energy. Sword light ricocheted wildly off the walls, floor, and ceiling. One particularly powerful, errant strike left a visible mark on the previously impervious statue that stood as a silent witness to their conflict. The witch's eyes widened in shock and unbridled fury at the sight of the damaged artifact. Her voice, when she spoke, dripped with murderous intent.
You dare damage the sacred statue. I swear your death will be slow and agonizing beyond imagination.
Despite the witch's overwhelming display of power and the precariousness of his situation, a sudden glimmer of inspiration flashed in Zane's eyes. A desperate plan began to form in his mind. In a lightning-fast motion that surprised even the witch, Zane disengaged from the fight, positioning himself strategically before the three-headed, six-armed statue. With unwavering resolve, he pressed his dragon blood sword against the artifact's neck, his voice low and threatening as he spoke.
One step closer, and I'll destroy this precious relic without hesitation. Living or not, I can reduce it to worthless scrap metal in the blink of an eye.
A cold, calculating smile played across Zane's lips as he watched the witch's reaction carefully. Her panicked expression confirmed beyond any doubt the statue's immense value, likely the very reason for her presence in this forgotten place. Using the statue as leverage was a desperate gambit, born of necessity, but Zane's sharp instincts proved entirely correct in this dangerous moment. The witch's jade eyes blazed with murderous intent, her entire body visibly trembling with barely contained rage. Yet she dared not act, fearing for the statue's safety. Her voice, when she finally spoke, was like shards of ice.
Harm that statue in any way, you coward, and I'll ensure your suffering knows no end. You cannot begin to imagine the torments that await you.
Make a single aggressive move, witch, and I'll do far more than merely scratch its surface. Test me, and see how quickly I can destroy this priceless artifact.
Zane maintained his defensive stance, pointedly ignoring the witch's venomous threats. With the statue as his shield and bargaining chip, he allowed himself a brief moment of bravado in this tense standoff. Moreover, Zane had absolute confidence in the lightning-fast speed of his sword arm, knowing he could make good on his threat before the witch could stop him.
You despicable, honorless coward. Is this how you fight your battles?
The witch's eyes flashed dangerously, a maelstrom of conflicting emotions evident in her expression. But her obvious concern for the artifact's safety ultimately outweighed her burning desire for immediate vengeance. Reluctantly, she chose to negotiate, her words dripping with barely contained fury.
Very well, you sniveling worm. I'll spare your miserable life. Now step away from the statue before I change my mind.
Do you truly take me for such a fool? Your words mean less than nothing to me. I'm staying right where I am, witch.
Zane maintained his white-knuckled grip on the dragon blood sword, his stance unwavering as he faced down his formidable opponent.